Yo, what's going on? It's been a minute. It's been a minute. Why's my hair so fucked up? It's not fucked up, it's fine. Anyway, it's been a minute. Last time I made a video, I was about 23 years old. Now I'm a lot older, but I've learned a tremendous amount. So last time I made a video, it was 2020. I was going through a really bad breakup. I was applying to grad school. I was starting a not-for-profit. I was right at the tail end of my first initial stint in Canada, coming over to the UK for grad school. And it was a crazy fucking time. I think I had 3 girlfriends at the time that were breaking up with me back to back to back. And I was also mentally preparing myself for taking this like insane move to the UK and moving to a new country. So I stopped making videos and I stopped self-reflecting. I think the last, 5-6 years of my life have been around execution. So all of 2020, 21, 22, 23, 24, 20, all of 25 have been around execution. So just finding my career path in life, figuring out what it is that I wanted to do long term. Like honestly speaking, the last 5 years have been a period of tremendous growth. So it was the point of my life where after graduating from U of T, I'm like, okay, you know what? I have to figure out what I want to do as my career. And I was also debating, like after getting my master's, I wanted to do an MBA and like just figure out what I wanted to do in life. So what ended up happening was I went to Oxford after U of T. So in 2020, I went to Oxford during COVID, which was hard as shit. I worked super hard, learned a tremendous amount, and like really built up my academic skills. And I just studied extremely hard. Then and then I also got skinny. So I was getting really fat when I was going through my 3 breakups and like doing all that other stupid shit. But I got super fat, so I lost all the weight. I started running, which is a passion that I picked up in 2020. And on the back of that, just got super fit. And then in 2021, once I graduated, I got a job in investment banking at Houlihan, which is notorious of being like one of the worst banks to work for in terms of hours, the number of hours worked. So I was like getting crushed, like just literally getting my butt handed to me. So that's also why I didn't make videos. I tried to make content, but really didn't make videos. Then I moved over, literally moved from, the boiling pot into the fire, and moved from Houlihan to Evercore within their restructuring group, which was just 10 times harder. Personalities were awful. People were just shit to work with. The work was great. I loved the work, but like, man, it took you getting used to some of those personalities. Anyway, after that, like I was thinking about, getting burnt out, working with this one guy who was going through a breakup or some divorce himself. It just got to me, and I decided that, I wanted to try other things outside of finance. Probably my biggest career mistake was ever leaving finance, because then I went to BCG, which is a great company, and I'm so grateful to have the opportunity to work for all these great companies. But ultimately, it's not finance, and I'm a finance guy. But I also, like when I got the offer to join BCG, I was also thinking from the perspective of, oh, look at that, I buy something. Yeah, buddy. But I was looking at it from the perspective of, I want to figure out what path is right for me. If you ever get an opportunity to work at a McKinsey, Bain, or BCG, you take that shit and you try and learn from it. And I've always had it in the back of my mind, I'm a charismatic guy. I love talking to people. I love being social. So maybe consulting is the path for me. It ended up not being the case because I find that I like being social in my off time. I'm like a numbers, math heavy individual. So I really like that part of my personality as my job. And then when I'm not working, I like being social. I found that at BCG, you'd have to be social for your job, it has its positives and negatives. Anyway, after BCG, I made one of the most difficult jumps for my life, which was getting back into finance. So I moved over to a credit fund, a smaller credit fund, because the larger credit shops, just wouldn't take a look at me. They were like, you already left finance once. What's to make us think that you won't want to leave again when you join? So I got into final rounds at like all these top funds, like Hellman and Friedman, and like, this is not a top fund, but it was still a good fund. Deutsche Bank's direct lending team, and a bunch of other like really top shops like Onyx. So it got great experience in that interviewing, but no great fund ultimately accepted me. One fund that did accept me was PenFund, which was the fund that I worked for. And honestly, it wasn't a great company. Like it was like 8 people managing 3 billion in AUM, so lots of exposure. But it wasn't like the best brand, best prestige. But it was a great way, a great platform to get back into finance, which was my passion, and what now I've realized over the course of the last 6 years is probably what's going to be what I do for the rest of my life. It's going to be my vocation. And PenFund gave me a really strong base for learning credit analysis. Coming into PenFund, I did like a fuck ton of LBO models. I was kind of like self-flagellating because I knew that, you know, I fucked up. I left finance and that's what I wanted to do. So I really like dialed the fuck in during my time at BCG, and I just learned as much as BCG had to offer. I wouldn't go out on the weekends. I would just do LBO modeling or get ready for more work at BCG just to like craft my narrative to work as an investor. So by the time I came to PenFund, I did that for 2 years. So by the time I came to PenFund, dude, I was fucking flying through the models. Like the models didn't mean shit. Like everything that other people found hard, I found fucking easy because it was so fucking easy for me after all this intentional practice. Anyway, long story short, I'm at PenFund and I'm like, okay, I'm now doing the shit that I want to do, but I want to get to the top of my industry. I want to be the best at what I fucking do. So every day at PenFund, I found that I had to continue the grind. So it's like at BCG, you're grinding over the fucking weekends, you're trying to break into the industry. Now you're at PenFund, you're great fun, you're learning a ton, but now you're trying to like upgrade platforms, upgrade funds. And so that was what I found myself doing in 2025, where I was chasing a top mega fund. And I got into final rounds at a bunch of places. Once I was back in finance, it was much easier to get more interviews within finance. And I got super fucking lucky in getting into Ares, which is where I am now. And for the first time in my life, that really brings me to like my chapter in my story and where I am now. So like 6 years later, after that 2020 COVID era where I was breaking up with like, I would say the girl at the time was like the love of my life, and like, man, I was just like fucking heartbroken and shit, and like just challenge after challenge, like just brutal as shit. But now I'm in a stage where the work I do at Ares is like very similar to what I did at PenFund and very similar to the shit that I prepped for at BCG. So it doesn't really feel like work. It's like I know what to do. I know like I know the 10 things they're gonna fucking ask of me, so it's like whatever, like I don't give a fuck. And in the future, if I do leave Ares at any point, I hope it's not soon. I hope they don't fire my ass, but even if they do, like I know I'm gonna stay in this industry and I'm gonna be the top player in this industry. So I have, for the first time in my life, some semblance of like I know what I'm doing, and I know where I need to go in life, and I know what my career is going to be. So regardless of whether it's in London at Ares or if tomorrow it's in New York, I know that I'm going to be working in credit investing. And that just gives me so much peace of mind, because it's like every day now I can stay focused on my work because there's nothing else I'd rather be doing. Like I like credit investing. If I have to work late, whatever, I'm like learning a ton. And I'm at a fund now that's the best at what they do. They're the best shop for credit investing. So no matter what, I'll always have a job opportunity within credit investing. I'm being stamped with an awesome brand in the industry. But anyway, now that takes me back to like, okay, I have some time on my hands and now I can like finally make videos again, finally like put myself out there again. I think one thing that I really appreciate about what I did before all this learning was like make these YouTube videos or whatever, like content videos. And that's what I'm gonna do again, because I think there's a lot of value in recording your thoughts as you move through life, right? You learn a ton and you become a better person for it. I think the one thing I'd highlight about where I'm going in life is, okay, so over the past 6 years, I became very like discipline oriented, very focused. And one thing that I neglected a lot was just social skills. So I became a bit of a hermit. If you looked at my pictures from back, like even a year ago, I became a very insular human being, and it looked on my face that I was like very sad about life. And it wasn't that I was sad about life, it was just like I was so fucking serious about what I wanted to do and like where I wanted to go that there was really no time for anything else. But now I'm starting to become more social. So you know, getting back into the dating scene, putting myself back out there. I used to do this thing called like pickup artistry, which is basically like you go up and you randomly talk to girls that you think are attractive, and you know, develop a charismatic personality to be able to do that successfully. I think over the past like 6 months or so, I've been getting back into that. I've gotten pretty fucking good. Like, it's like riding a bike, you don't forget. And you know, like, I'm naturally very charismatic and good looking, so like it doesn't really hurt. And it's not hard by any stretch of the imagination. But no, like, I'm getting back into that, so I'm gonna be recording those. I'm gonna be looking at London from a different lens. I'm gonna be exploring new places. So I'm gonna share that, and I'm gonna share that with you guys. I'm gonna share that. When I say you guys, I really mean me in the future and my family and friends that give a fuck to watch me. And you know what? If I become a famous YouTuber, then fuck it for the rest of the world too. So yeah, I'm looking forward to it. All right, thanks for listening to me rant. Ciao.